Now, with the power of kindness, here is Emma Modock from Lake Orion High School.
Kindness can transform someone's dark moment with the blaze of light. You'll never know how much your caring matters. Make a difference for another today. Amy Lee Mercury. Today we live in such a fast-paced world where so many individuals are struggling physically, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. We often hear about individuals in need, but do nothing because we feel limited by our own life situation. We are not sure what to do or how to help, so we do nothing to ensure that we don't cause that individual any additional harm. Jacob is on the higher end of the spectrum, while Ryan faces more significant challenges. Ryan also has to deal with other issues such as behavior challenges and seizures on top of his autism. As you can imagine, this probably has changed the course of my family and how we interact with the world and each other. My brothers and I have a great relationship now, but it isn't your typical brother-sister relationship. We don't always get to talk about things such as school, relationships, and life in general like most siblings do. But what we can do is communicate through hugs, laughter, smiles, and a little bit of charades. My family and I have gotten very good at understanding what my brothers want and need, but I wouldn't be very truthful if I said it was easy to be able to not have a real conversation with them sometimes. As you can imagine, all of these challenges make life sometimes pretty hard for our family. There's some things that we can't do because of my brother's disabilities. Sometimes we can't go do things together as a family. And sometimes we feel like we are on the outside or isolated from the rest of the world. Another thing that is very difficult for my family and I to see is how my brother's disability impacts their lives. Some of the things that come so easy to my oldest brother and I are the very things that they struggle with the most. It's very hard for us to get other people to see everything that they have to offer to the world instead of everything they cannot do because of their disability. My brothers amaze me every day with everything they've accomplished and overcome in this life. They've made me who I am today, and they have made my family the family we are today, and for that, we are forever grateful. Another thing that is very difficult for my family and I to witness is sometimes that people judge so easy, and they don't understand, and they don't try to understand sometimes. And that can be very challenging in any kind of situation. In the summer of 2012, was my first experience that made me realize, though, how much people can impact others with their actions. That summer, my brother Ryan had been having some pretty challenging behavior problems, which made things extremely difficult for my family and I. We stopped going places sometimes, and people stopped wanting to come over to our house. We felt so lonely and isolated, but it was so much easier than having to go out in a public place where Ryan could have a behavior where we wouldn't be able to contain or diffuse it. That summer, though, one of the things we still tried to do was go camping. We'd been going camping to the same campground on Lake Michigan for the past 12 years, as much for the amazing sunsets as the people we have met there. Some of the friends we have made there feel more like an extended family than actual friends. Every summer, they give us a place that we can go to feel accepted, and we know that they're not going to judge us. And we crave that so much every year because we don't really get that all the time with the places we go. One night while we were camping, my brother Ryan, though, had an incredibly severe behavior. This incident made us think, people are not going to understand anymore, and we're not going to be able to come back to this campground that we love so much. What are we going to do? But to our surprise, people offered so much love, compassion, and support to us. Even though they hadn't seen this side of autism, they didn't hesitate to step forward and offer to help. While my parents were busy dealing with my brother, they took care of the rest of my brothers and I, provided meals for my family, and also moral support to all of us. One morning, shortly after this incident, we were sitting around our campfire when about 30 of our closest family and friends started coming towards our campsite. We were really confused at why so many people were coming towards us, but when they arrived, we found out. They told us how much they loved my family's strength and courage, and how much they admired us. They told us that we would always be welcome at the campground, no matter what. They told us that we amazed them every day with how awesome we were. And they gave us a beautiful card, and inside that card was a generous gift card donation for communication software that would help my brother communicate more effectively with my family and I. To some, what they did for us may have seemed like such a tiny thing, but it meant the world to us, and it still does. Knowing that we weren't alone at one of the loneliest points in our life was so important. It kept us from giving up. A few years later, my brother was once again facing some challenging behaviors, and my mom was having a medical situation. We thought to ourselves, how are we going to deal with two different family members in two separate hospitals? How are we going to deal without my mother's income for the next several months? Again, these challenges felt insurmountable. But again, there were people who amazed us. Teachers and coaches at my school would pull my brother and I out of class or aside in the hallways and ask if there was anything that they could do for us or if we were doing okay. Coworkers of my mom's offered to provide meals for us, so that was one less thing we had to worry about. And friends of mine would ask if there was anything that they could do or if I just needed to talk. Our situation could have been so much worse without these generous people in our life. We really could have been going through all of this stuff on our own, but instead, we knew we had people who loved and cared about us, and people that were going to be there for us no matter what happened. I want all of you to try and think of a day when everything and everyone has just felt like it was out to get you. Now, I want you to think of a time if anybody was able to fix that day and make it go from bad to good. What is it that they did for you? And if you can't think of a time that someone was able to make your day better, I want you to try and think of a way that someone could have. What is that thing that they could have done for you? Today we live in a world where we just keep doing the same things over and over again. We're so stuck in our routine, and sometimes we don't even realize the small difference one small action can have in someone's life. We keep living our lives and don't take the little amount of time it actually takes to make someone feel better or know that you are there and that you care for them. I have a question I want all of you to think about right now. Have any of you ever been in a situation where you saw someone around you that was really having a hard time in their life or struggling that day, and you just walked by? It's okay if you did. We're human. We make mistakes. We aren't perfect. But my question to you is why? Why didn't you stop? Why didn't you stop and ask that person if they were okay or if there was anything that you could do? Even if you didn't know them, it could have been as simple as walking up and saying, "Hi, my name is, and I would love to get to know you." Or asking if there was anything that they needed or that you could do for them. Remember to be kind to everyone, because you never know what someone really has going on in their life and are just trying to pretend that everything is okay and hide and put deep down. Ask yourself each and every day, what is it that I can do to make a difference in someone else's life? And how can I make sure that I do that every day? So today, my challenge to you is every day when you wake up, look in the mirror and ask yourself, what can I do to make a difference? Think about it. Thank you.